So first, talk to me about Chelsea's Maresca, or like I don't know. Maresca started the season very well for Chelsea. It got to a point, Chelsea, Liverpool they were just like 2.3 point difference, and they asked Maresca in a press conference, and it was like, Chelsea are not in the title race. They asked the Chelsea players, Chelsea are not in the title race. Even their fans were saying Chelsea is not in the title race. What has changed? Because they've been so shambolic. Apart from the game that they won in the Conference League against Liga Warsaw by 3-0, you could see clearly that you don't see anything positive.
Yeah, especially this year.
This year from Chelsea.
Yeah.
They've been so bad. I remember the game against Brentford last week. There was no plan.
Yeah.
And 2, Maresca didn't want to use the star players, which you ask yourself, is it because of Liga Warsaw? That is why you bench Cole Palmer. Just talk to me about Chelsea. Maresca. This is the VARroom on Westman Studios, and we are back. Today, we'll delve into the upcoming weekend games, Salah's contract extension at Liverpool, and Onana. I have Prince Osuansa, Richie, and Cephas to do this discussion with me. What's up, guys?
Oh, cool.
Everything is cool.
It's cool.
Charlie, Richie, what's up?
I do fine.
Cephas, what's up?
Everything cool, Charlie.
Prince, what's up?
Everything is fine.
Let's go straight into action. Okay, so let's go to La Liga. And with La Liga, I want us to specifically talk about Real Madrid. In their last 2 games in all competitions, they've lost both games. That was against Valencia and Arsenal. I want to know what is really wrong with Real Madrid now. What is wrong? Say first.
If you look at the Real Madrid team this season, a lot went wrong from the word go when they lost Toni Kroos. Luka Modric, yes, in terms of its brilliance, it's still there, but then has he got the legs? That we are not too sure of, because he's getting to the twilight of his career. So tellingly, you see that he's been, in and out of the team. He's played bit-part roles this season. And so if you look at the engine of the Real Madrid team, you can't really, if you want to juxtapose it to previous seasons, that would have been the engine, the strong core of the team. But this season, they seem to rely more on their pacey attack. And a lot of teams have found them out. Look, the team is not balanced in many aspects. So it's really taking a toll on the team. And that is the reason why they've blown hot and cold throughout the season. For me personally, I tip them, irrespective of the fact that the midfield hasn't been that solid.
Yeah.
I know Real Madrid is a team that will always, a team that is oriented to find results, irrespective of how they play. For them, it's all about getting the results, getting the trophies. And even though the season hasn't gone too well, look, we can't completely write them off. They are still within a shout of still making the treble. Yes, they are 4 points behind Barcelona. They lost heavily to Arsenal in the Champions League, but we all know what they can do once Champions League returns to Bernabeu. So, yes, a lot of people have called for Ancelotti's head as well. People feel it's time for him to walk away. People are calling for Zidane to come back and all that. But I still think all hope is not lost for Real Madrid fans. And let's see for the remaining games to the rest of the season. Let's see how things will pan out.
Richie, do you think Ancelotti should just take some sabbatical leave?
Well,
after the season?
Ancelotti is an OG. Like this man did the system since.
Yeah.
If it's something we for take a look. Ancelotti is not this season's or it's not this era's. He's a past generation coach. Mm-hmm. We knew him back then.
Yeah.
So you see, when there's a time for a coach to decline.
Okay.
And he's in that period. But that doesn't write off his achievement and whatever he has done for the club. I think he is the most successful coach for Real Madrid. Yeah, I think they just have to find a way to deal with the issues around him and the team, and then give him a better farewell for him to leave the club peacefully. If supposing they are not trying to continue the journey with him, they should just give him a nice farewell for him to leave, rather than just pushing him away. To me, he is my greatest of all time coaches. to me.
Okay. So this weekend they play against Alaves. They play away, and there's a lot of pressure on Ancelotti, as we said. What do you think they have to do, knowing very well this Wednesday they have a return leg against Arsenal to play in the Champions League? Do you think they have to start all their stars or rest some of their players? Because this is a team, if they are to rest most of their players and they are to lose against Alaves, there will be a lot of pressure going into Wednesday's game. And now they're also 4 points behind Barcelona. What do you think they should do against Alaves on Sunday?
You see, this Sunday's fixture is certainly one that will either define the fate of Real Madrid both domestically and internationally. Now, critically, if you examine the way Real Madrid as a team are performing this season, it raises a lot of red flags.
Okay.
You have brought in Mbappe back in his days at PSG. We all saw his performance. Even during the World Cup and all the other competition, we saw the way he performed. Yeah. But there's something that we need to understand here. Like Richie said earlier, at some point in time, no matter how good you are as a coach, you reach a very declining stage. And I think that's the moment Ancelotti finds himself in now. Your game against Alaves, back in the days, it would have been a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
But here lies the case where Madrid are seemingly struggling against sides that would have been an easy walkover.
Yeah.
Now, on Wednesday, you are playing against Arsenal.
Yeah.
You lost by 3 against Arsenal. On Sunday, you are playing against Alaves. You are still in contention for the league, 4 points behind Barcelona.
Yeah.
There's a dilemma here. It's either you go for the league or go for the Champions League. It's a big question because I'm telling you, if I'm looking at the state of Real Madrid, they can't go for both competitions. It's either you go for the Champions League or you go for the league. If you are to go for the Champions League, ask yourself a simple question. You are 3 goals down against Arsenal. And Arsenal have developed a very strong mentality this season. I didn't expect that performance from them. But
Do you think Arsenal have developed a strong mentality this
beating
season?
Real Madrid by 3 is a strong mentality. A team that lacks mentality would never be able to beat Real Madrid by 3.
I also doubt that because if you say Arsenal have developed a strong mentality,
Yeah.
this is an Arsenal team that you had a chance to compete with Liverpool in the Premier League, but they've not proved to be a good team.
Do you know why?
Okay.
They have developed a mentality because, one, in 2006, when Arsenal went to the finals of the Champions League, they met Madrid at Bernabeu and beat them by a goal.
Yes.
And drew goalless at the then Highbury.
Yeah.
Now, since then, they have never met in any competition until recently.
Yeah.
Now, the idea of we being able to beat them was there, 1. And 2, look at how they were able to get 3 goals in the second half. It clearly shows something has gone positive on the part of Arsenal. Let's forget about the Premier League. We know for the Premier League, they've always been deceiving their fans. Oh, we are competing for the Premier League. Along the line, they will slip, and either City or Liverpool will come into the bigger picture. No, let me land down. In the Champions League, for example, you are playing against a team like, let's say, Real Madrid. We know Madrid's history in the Champions League.
Okay.
They are the best in the competition.
Okay.
They are the defending champions.
Yeah.
You come up against Arsenal, a side that almost everyone wrote them off because we all know their shambolic performance in the Premier League. So coming up against a Madrid side who had already beaten City, it clearly showed that there were no match to Real Madrid. But for them to be able to beat them 3, you ask yourself this question: what did the magic for Arsenal? It's about the mentality.
Okay.
They developed the mentality that we can beat Arsenal, we can beat Madrid, and true, they were able to do it. You are up against Alaves on Sunday. Now, Barcelona, you are 4 points behind them. If you parade your full squad, it won't change anything on Wednesday.
Prince.
It's either you go for the league or you concentrate on the Champions League.
So if you have to be in Ancelotti's shoes, which of the trophies would you like to take?
For now, I'll go for the league.
You'll go for the La Liga.
For the Champions League, it's a foregone conclusion. Mark my words. Listen, we are all here.
Okay.
For Arsenal to beat you 3, to score 4 or equal the 3 goals, it is possible. But it is not possible this time. Now, let's face fact. Let's put all jokes aside. It is possible for Madrid because they have done a comeback before.
Okay.
For the Spanish team, they've done comebacks. I remember Barcelona versus Paris Saint-Germain. There was a comeback against them I remember Liverpool also did a comeback against Barcelona.
Yeah.
And this time around, can Real Madrid do a comeback against Arsenal? It's a question we are all asking until Wednesday. So for now, Ancelotti should concentrate on the league because he still has a minimal and slim chance of winning, though. But still, there's a possibility of him catching up with Barcelona. Because from the start of the season, we all saw what happened. Madrid tops, it goes down, Barcelona takes over. Until recently, where they have been inconsistent domestically, having lost 2 games consistently against Valencia and against Arsenal in midweek. Clearly, it shows that they are on the declining path. However, you can't write them off in the league because 4 points separating both teams, and the two having to meet at some points in the league. It clearly shows that Ancelotti have a chance. But for the Champions League against Arsenal, it will take miracle. And there will be no miracle on Wednesday. Let's face fact.
See,
So,
Prince,
Richie?
I disagree with Prince on certain things. You see, we are talking about Champions League,
Okay.
and you are mentioning Arsenal.
Yes.
Bro, Champions League and Arsenal doesn't match.
But the team was able to beat Madrid.
Relax.
Who are the masters of the
Relax.
competition?
Relax.
Wait,
I remember
wait,
before
wait,
Chelsea.
wait.
I remember before
Wait.
Chelsea meeting Madrid, they were unbeaten.
Yes.
Chelsea have never lost a game against Madrid. Chelsea went to Bernabeu.
Beat them.
They met, and we saw how Madrid, beat Chelsea
3-1, yeah.
3-1. They went to Bernabeu,
And Chelsea also beat them 3-1.
by on aggregate, you lost.
And that was just, so the same thing could also happen
So-
on Wednesday, Arsenal can also go to Bernabeu and beat Madrid.
No, listen.
It's
You
the
see,
same thing. It
Arsenal,
doesn't change
Arsenal,
anything.
you see these teams,
Yeah.
Arsenal,
Uh-huh.
PSG, these 2 teams, whenever they give you a hope
Yeah.
that even just sacrifice any of your something for them, that's where they disappoint.
So you okay?
Oh yeah,
okay.
We've seen this so many
Okay, so
times.
you-
When was the last time you saw Arsenal in a semi-final Champions League? I'm asking a question.
I understand you.
Okay.
I know we'll have more preview of this UCL second leg to our
Sure.
viewers. So let's just
Sure.
relax on it. Let's just concentrate on the La Liga games.
Okay.
So let's go to Barcelona now. Barcelona is playing Leganes on Saturday, and Barcelona is in some top form, which we need to applaud Hansi Flick for that.
Yeah.
Richie, talk to me about Lewandowski. What is so special about Lewandowski?
Lewandowski, I think he's riding on his experience more than his strength now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
it's,
agree with
it's,
you.
it's actually working for him.
Yeah.
I think there've been some time where some of the fans or a crop of the fans wanted him out of the team because he was missing so many chances. But I keep on asking the Barcelona fans, when you get rid of Lewandowski, who are you replacing? Because we have a lot of clubs looking for strikers. We have Chelsea, we have Arsenal, we have Man United, and even Liverpool are still in the market looking for a
But
striker.
for Barcelona, they don't have the cash. They don't have the money.
Yeah, but I mean, you see,
But every striker would want to join Barcelona now.
Oh, yes.
Everyone wants to play
Yeah.
Barcelona.
Everyone would want to join
Yeah.
Barcelona now. That
Well,
would
there-
have to
there
happen.
was-
The person
there
will
was-
take a pay cut
Yes.
to join
there
Barcelona.
Yes.
was a time Chelsea wanted Koundé and even to pay more.
Yes.
But look at the price Barcelona paid for Koundé.
Even with Rafinha.
Yeah, they have the pedigree. They are big club. So I mean, they should give Lewandowski extra 2 years. The reason is bring up any a striker who have a prospect to understudy Lewandowski for that 2 seasons, and then I mean
He says goodbye.
he says goodbye. That's the best.
Okay.
But I don't think Ferran Torres is one of the player you have to rely on. No, because whenever you start this guy, he's a different player. Whenever he comes from the bench, he looks so fantastic. He's actually deceiving a lot of clubs to purchase him in this summer. Oh yeah, it's true. It's true. Because looking at his numbers, with that few minutes he has been playing, there are a lot of teams who are putting him on the list to get him. So
Your team is also part.
no, but I don't think Chelsea will go in.
Oh, they
for-
will need him.
So
no,
Leganes,
no.
Barcelona, who do you think will win?
A straight win for Barcelona. Even when they play their team B, they are just going to win this.
Leganes, Barcelona, who do you think is winning? Prince?
You see, let's not write off Leganes because they are also not in good position on the league.
Yeah.
However, looking at the stage we are and Barcelona being able to beat Dortmund 4, there's nothing like I'm resting players. They are going all out against the Gunners, and I think this is the right time for Barcelona to get a sweet revenge against them.
Cephas, Barcelona, Leganes, who is winning?
I think I concur with Prince. As he rightly put it, Leganes actually beat Barcelona in the first leg.
Yes, 1-0.
Kind Ketslier's Sergio Concalves goal, I think.
Yeah.
But I think
I think
Barcelona
it will
been some
be-
players, right?
It will be very difficult. Look, Barca are fighting on all fronts. As in, they are pushing for all 3 trophies. And it's at the stage of the season where every game is very crucial. And the win against Dortmund was very important, not just by virtue that they were able to get the 3 points, but the magnitude of the victory. Because they are able to, by that scoreline, it's more or less putting the game to bed so that you don't necessarily have to focus on it or have a divided attention as far as the game against Leganes is concerned. But if I'm Hansi Flick, I'm going all out against them this weekend. Make sure by 45, 60 minutes, I put the game to bed, take out a few players, rest them against Dortmund. Then we are good to go.
Okay, that's great. Let's go straight into the Serie A. And I just wanted to talk about Napoli and Inter Milan. They are the 2 top teams in the Serie A this season. And they are playing some fantastic football. When you look at Simeone Inzaghi at Inter, he's playing a very good system of 3-5-2, which we need to applaud him for that. For Napoli to Conte is also playing the same 3-5-2, sometimes 3-4-3. So everyone is playing a 3-back. Who do you think is winning the Serie A this season?
For Inter, they have the experience, they have the pedigree, they have the record. Everything favors them now. But one thing I have realized is that since Ancelotti, or how they call it, Antonio Conte moved to Napoli, there have been a lot of improvement. I remember the start of the season when he was pushing for Lukaku from Chelsea. I was like, what has Lukaku shown to this man? Because we also saw Lukaku at Roma, we also saw Lukaku at United, saw Lukaku at Chelsea. The numbers were not encouraging and all of that. But the moment he came to Inter, though he hasn't provided enough goals that you may say, okay, as a striker, you expect him to. But then his hold-up play has really earned a lot of points here for, Napoli. Okay. That's fantastic. And though, basically, when it comes to the technical aspect of the game, Ancelotti, or how do you call it, Conte knew exactly what he saw in Lukaku. That's why he opted for him. So looking at the league now, 1, Napoli, they don't have any competition to, fight for. 2, for Inter, you still have a game in hand, which is against, Bayern Munich in midweek.
Yeah.
But having been able to beat them by 2-1 in the first leg, I still think they don't have any other option than to beat, Cagliari this weekend. So, I think per the materials available for both teams, Inter have what it takes to win their league. But I wouldn't be surprised. Because any league that Conte plays in, at least he wins a trophy in his first season. When he moved to Chelsea for the first season, he was able to win the Premier League with Chelsea, I think in 2016 or so. Now, when he was at Juventus, he won the Scudetto a couple of times with, Juventus and all of that. So when it comes to leagues, he has a lot of experience. Italian Serie A is nothing new to him. He's been there before. Yeah. And looking at what he's doing with Napoli now, even if he doesn't win this season, next year promises to be better for him. So I think Inter have got the same players, the same, Lautaro Martinez, Çalhanoğlu and all of that. They've been in the league for years. They've won it before. So winning it this time around is not going to be anything difficult for them. So I still think Inter have what it takes to win this year's Scudetto.
Okay. Richie, don't you think Napoli bottled the league? Because it got to a point, Napoli were leading Inter with about 6-8 points in the league. And all of a sudden, Napoli started dropping some few points, losing, and they had a lot of draw games. Yes. In about 5 games, they played some draws games, which were so bad. Don't you think Napoli have rather flopped for Inter to do their best now?
Well, looking at the Serie A, we know it has always been a one-man run competition. Whenever you take the lead, you are just going to end it. That has been the trend. But looking at this season, I think we should applaud the other teams.
Yeah.
There's some competition in the league now.
Yeah.
And it's making it very interesting for football fans. It's not that farmers, quote unquote, that farmers league they used to. So it's 3 points apart between Inter and then Napoli.
Yeah.
The race is not over. the race is not
And
over.
even the top 4 is Inter, Napoli, Atlanta, and Bologna.
Yeah.
So the likes
Bologna.
of
Even
AC
Bologna
Milan-
is not even safe because it's just 1 point apart between Juventus.
Yeah, so
and
we don't even have Juventus, AC Milan, Lazio,
And 5
AS
points,
Roma in the top 4.
Yes,
Yeah.
5 points apart with Lazio,
Lazio.
too. So the only team I'm trying to be that was giving me hope was Atlanta, but it got to a time he was also dropping some points. This I think this is one of the incredible Serie A season. I mean, one of the most enjoyable Serie A season.
Yeah.
It's not a one-man race.
Yeah.
We can see some competitive amongst the clubs.
Yeah.
It's not over for Napoli. They still have a chance to go in all for to win. We know Conte, as Prince said. We know Conte, especially in his first season. We know. There's a North London club who actually sport his record. But then we know him wherever he's having a new club. The first season is always a fire for him. I won't be shocked seeing them being the champions. I won't be shocked. But hey, Inter Milan is one of the best teams for the past 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Best team in Europe for the past 3 seasons.
And for Inter Milan, for our viewers, we have a surprise content for you guys. We are going to delve deeply into Simeone Inzaghi's tactics.
Yeah,
We'll
sure.
do that in one of our episodes. So
Yeah, sure.
just stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
So please continue.
I think Simeone Inzaghi and Conte, there's no difference.
Yeah.
When you come to their system, there's no
Yes.
difference. So it's going to be an interesting moment for us to enjoy ahead.
Okay. So let's go to Bundesliga and say first, just the Klassiker this weekend is Bayern Munich against Dortmund. And both teams are not really in top form. Company is not doing very well with Bayern. But someone will say most of the players, when they play their football, they get a lot of chances and they miss it. Especially on Tuesday, when they played against Inter, they had about 5 to 6 clear chances, which they missed. Dortmund also are not playing their best. They are 10th or 9th in the league, and which is not bad for a team like Dortmund.
Yeah.
This game, do you think the hype that we had for the Dark Klassiker about 2 seasons, 3 seasons ago, is it the same thing we are having this season?
I don't think it is. I think the quality of both teams have dropped a bit this season. Maybe on the lighter side, potentially we may see Harry Kane win his first trophy in in his international career or in his club career.
You mean to break the case?
Finally break the case. They've not been brilliant, both teams. And I think for Dortmund, I've been hugely disappointed with them. They are not even in the top 4.
Yeah.
They're not even in the top 4. And that's a huge disappointment on their part.
Yeah, they are 8 on the league log.
And it goes a long way to tell how poor they've been all season.
Yeah.
For some funny reason, Bayern have always got their number. Bayern has always been beating them left, right, center. I remember in recent seasons, Dortmund needed a win against Bayern. I think it was the penultimate day of the season, also on the last day. But again, they bottled it up. Vincent Kompany, yes, not a top-class coach like many would expect for a big club like Bayern. Even it has reflected in the Champions League. If you want to forensically analyze how Bayern have played this season in the Champions League. And yes, for me, I think it's the whole Bundesliga this season. It's not been that competitive for me.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why, by default, Bayern will always be the team to look out for when it comes to the Bundesliga. So yes, it's the big one in Germany, but the clout around it has shaped a bit because of the quality of play from both sides. But if you ask me to stick my neck out, I would tilt slightly in favor of Bayern to win it. I think they have about 6 games to go at the end of the season. It's an 18-team league.
Yeah.
So with Bayern in pole position now, with a 6 points gap or 4 points gap at the top, I think getting the better of Dortmund will put them in pole position to win the league this season. So for me, it's a Bayern win for me.
Okay, so let's go to arguably the best league in the world, the English Premier League. And this weekend, we have some interesting games. Fortunately for the Premier League clubs, I'm sure they were happy on Tuesday when they heard the news that 5 teams will be able to qualify for the UCL for next season. So now it makes way for the team that will be fit this season to qualify for the UCL.
Yeah,
And the competition in the top 5 this season in the EPL is superb.
Absolutely.
From when you check from, should I even use Arsenal? Should I even start from Arsenal?
You
From
can.
Arsenal,
You can.
Forest to Chelsea to Newcastle. From the 4th position to the 10th position, it's just 8-point difference.
Yeah.
And that should tell you that it's an interesting one to go. And Prince,
Yeah.
this season we are having one of the best top 4 rounds and top 5. Let me do it, top 5 rounds in the Premier League.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's one of the best, and I appreciate the fact that at least other teams that we gave them not even a dog's chance are trying to come up a little. At some point, Bournemouth came into the picture where we saw a lot of, really good performances here from Antoine Semenyo here and that. And then, clearly speaking, I think Forest need to be commended. Nottingham Forest, they've done extremely well.
Yeah.
Nuno Espirito Santo has really created an environment that has really, created some kind of awareness among the players, and it's yielding results.
Because this is a team that last season they almost got to relegated, and this season they are a different team. You ask yourself, these were the same players that played last season, right?
And you see what
there's
happened
a new energy
during the Leicester time has motivated a lot of teams, and one of such teams is Nottingham Forest.
Yes, I agree with that.
In 1998, 1999, they got relegated. And the last time they came back into the Premier League was in 2022. Their first season, they were 17th on the table. The following season, they were 16th or so. And as I speak, they are 3rd on the table. So you ask yourself, what exactly happened? Leicester's effect in 2015, 2016 has motivated a lot of players that no matter the kind of quality we have, we can still do better. And they are doing better. And look at their performance. Very interesting. 3rd on the table, above Chelsea, above City, above Newcastle, above Aston Villa. Nobody dreamed that. Last season, they were on the verge of relegation. You know that?
Yes.
I think they were 17th on the table.
They were 17th.
And then around that time, I think they deducted 4 points or so.
Yes.
And that was the FA's decision, a whole lot of that. 17th, just on the last line of survival in the Premier League. And the following season,
They're 3rd.
you are 3rd on the table.
Really?
Even if they don't make,
Very
the
blue.
cut, even if they don't make the cut,
And
I think
it's
the
been
greatest
a
achievement
thoroughly-
is Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
They've done tremendously well. If you take a look at the Premier League, I'm not surprised because this season a lot of teams have been very inconsistent, paving way for other teams to also come up. City, 1, Chelsea, another. Aston Villa, the same thing.
Manchester United.
Arsenal, Manchester United, where they are, I think where they are, they deserve it now.
We'll
We'll get there. No, wait.
will get there. You just relax.
I understand.
Just
Okay,
relax.
let me put that aside. Let's consider
Okay,
that.
so Forest Everton, who is winning?
I think Forest will win. For now, they don't have anything to lose.
Okay.
They will do everything possible to win their remaining matches so that they will stay in the top 5 because a slip tomorrow.
City Palace, Richie.
Well, City Palace. You see, I've always been carried away with Palace recent performance.
Yeah.
They are playing well. I think their last 8 games they've lost only 1,
Yes.
and they've won 7. They've won 6 and draw 1.
Yeah.
So that's, you see, to their level, that's
they are in the semi-finals of the FA Cup.
Yes.
And the draw was against last bottom side. Southampton. This is the funny thing, the irony of football.
So you see, going into this game, Man City will be out without. They will go into this game without Akanji, Stones. Their centre backs. A lot of their centre backs will be out of this game, and City having a shaky performances. The inconsistency is actually showing up more and more. Pep Guardiola says he needs his players back to perform. So, for Man City, their season is done. Absolutely done. They are just fighting for an European or the Champions League position. But to talk of winning the league, no. The treble winners, the 4 times winning row winners, they are actually not part of the conversation when you are talking about who is winning these seasons. Crystal Palace will also miss the likes of Maguire and then Edin Ketia. Edin Ketia is not a starter.
No, he's not a starter.
Yeah, but I think
Mateta.
Nathan Klein will absolutely replace Maguire. That's the prediction. Yeah. Definitely is going to start. And having Walton and what's this guy? One of this
Munoz or
Munoz,
yeah.
and the likes of Mateta,
Yeah.
Eze in this team. I mean, they still have their men.
Eze is picking up some good forms, like
Yeah,
some
yeah,
good
yeah,
numbers
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So I just want a straight answer, Richie. Is City qualifying for next year's Champions League?
That would be difficult. Even Chelsea is shaky. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Let's be honest. Because the likes of
Mm-hmm.
Newcastle are
Aston
coming
Villa.
from behind. Aston Villa is on top form. Brighton
Shaky.
shaky.
Yeah.
And I think that would be an interesting race.
Yeah.
But this game, I think Palace is never going without a point. Palace have to pick a point or 3.
So it's Palace win or draw for
Win
you?
or draw to me. Yeah.
That is good.
Is it
That
because
is good.
is it because you're a Chelsea fan?
Oh no. But let's give credit to what Palace is doing. I mean,
Yeah, they are doing well. They
they
are
are
doing
doing
well.
well.
but
They are
but
doing
in fact,
very well.
Palace over the years have turned City into whipping boys. Oh.
Yeah.
During the time of Yannick Bolasie till now, they've been beating City Old Trafford.
Yeah.
At where,
Manchester United.
Etihad Stadium.
Etihad
Oh,
Stadium.
they've been beating them. But tomorrow might be a different story because City also need the points. If you sleep tomorrow,
Say first.
And I'm coming. There's one thing I'll be expecting in this game. Kelvin De Bruyne starting or coming into this game. I don't know what will be running through his head because he just announced his departure from
the
the
club.
So
From the club.
I don't know how he will be or he will influence this game to cement whatever he has done or.
I'm sure he will do his best to make sure the team qualifies for next year's Champions League.
Yeah,
At least.
Pep
that-
is a gem.
yeah,
Pep is a
yeah,
gem, so you know how to handle
yeah,
it.
sure.
Pep is a
Yeah,
gem.
so first, talk to me about Chelsea's Maresca, or like I don't know. Maresca started the season very well for Chelsea. It got to a point. Chelsea, Liverpool they were just like 2.3 point difference,
Yeah.
and they asked Maresca in a press conference, and it was like Chelsea are not in the title race. They asked the Chelsea players, Chelsea are not in the title race. Even their fans were saying Chelsea is not in the title race. What has changed? Because they've been so shambolic. Apart from the game that they won in the Conference League against Liga Warsaw by 3-0, you could see clearly that you don't see anything positive
Yeah, especially this year.
this year from Chelsea.
Yeah.
They've been so bad. I remember the game against Brentford last week. There was no plan.
Yeah.
And 2, Maresca didn't want to use the star players, which you ask yourself, is it because of Liga Warsaw? That is why you bench Cole Palmer. Just talk to me about Chelsea, Maresca's Chelsea.
For me, I'm not entirely surprised.
Okay.
And when Maresca was asked if Chelsea indeed are title contenders, the answer he gave, I sided with him.
Okay.
And my reason is simple. Look, how many players did walk into the Chelsea dressing room over the summer? Countless. And how do you expect a team to gel all of a sudden, just like that, with all these number of players? It was, the team just clicked from the word go. And you see, you not to drift a bit, but when you spoke about Napoli, about the fact that they dipped in form
Yeah.
at a particular time, every club will have that.
Will
in
have
the
that.
season.
Yeah.
There will be a moment in the season where you will dip.
That is what Liverpool is having now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the good thing for Liverpool now is,
They've stretched.
of course,
Yeah, so that is
the,
what
the
is
league
going to-
virtually has already
Yeah.
been wrapped up.
Yeah.
And the chasing pack,
And they know the person who is chasing them is Arsenal.
Of course.
And if Arsenal is chasing you,
Sometimes
they can just
see,
bottle the leg.
A team like Man City always have a rough start, but going into
Yeah.
the season, like
Yeah.
ending the season, they will be having a long, perfect run.
Last season like this, they did that.
So
Like,
whenever-
they won
yes.
like their last 10 games. Like
yes. So
consecutive.
whenever a team is starting roughly, and then he peak in the middle of the season, you should fear that team.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm scared for
Chelsea.
Liverpool
Okay.
and Chelsea because this is not the right time to dip.
Oh, but for Liverpool, I don't think it's.
Okay,
It-
let's say it's
it-
because of Arsenal.
it-
Yeah,
it
I
has
don't
come-
think
it
Liverpool will
has-
win the league.
Of course.
Yeah,
Oh, for the
Liverpool
league,
win the league.
I think
It's
this
Arsenal.
for the
It's
league.
Arsenal.
What again
It's
are you
already
waiting
been
for?
won.
Yeah, it's
And-
Arsenal.
They are just waiting for their guard of honor from Arsenal, and then they are good to go. Oh, but this
And
one.
then again with Chelsea, look, there's been a lot of reliance on Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer,
Yeah.
yes.
Since he moved from Manchester City to Chelsea, look, there's been a lot of pressure on his young shoulders. For crying out loud, how can such a young chap
Hey.
be carrying a big team like Chelsea on his shoulders. Yes, his talent is unquestionable, but the prospects, it's too huge. It's too huge for him. And Chelsea have relied so much on him, and I'm surprised the way Maresca has failed to manage his game time as well.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be playing every single game.
Of
yes,
course.
his talent is needed, but the kind of the players he has at his disposal, he should be able to fashion out a team that can, afford him sometimes rest Cole Palmer and make him fresh and available for, big games as they come and go. But I realized every now and then he's in there. Yes, because of the numbers he had at his disposal, he is able to pick some for the Conference League and all that. But then for the league matches in particular, he made sure Cole Palmer was there every single game. Yes, the Conference League and the other cup competitions did have a toll on them. And like I said from the beginning, look, there were a lot of players and they had to gel. Unfortunately, at the turn of the year or from December into the year 2025, we realized that the Chelsea team now, the harsh reality was beginning to hit them.
Yeah.
The team they were not cohesive enough. Players were not understanding each other again all of a sudden. That telepathic understanding was not there. And it was as a result of the fact that the players were, now getting to understand each other more.
Yeah.
And so for me, it didn't come to me as a surprise. And Chelsea fans shouldn't raise their hopes so much. They should be actually, happy with the position they find themselves now. Yes, 2025 hasn't gone too well for them, but looking at the difficult run of fixtures too they have, if they can, get at least 3, 4, 5 wins out of that, it will put them in pole position to finish at least top 5 or top 4.
For me, I feel like Maresca was a bit stubborn, but the good news for Chelsea is that they have Nicolas Jackson back, Noni Madueke also back, so at least their front line will have some sharp attackers there that will help them get some goals. So we are going to Liverpool, and Liverpool, I wanted to talk about Salah's contract extension. When you go on Twitter, when you go on X, go on social media today, everyone is happy. Every Liverpool fan is happy because there were rumors that Salah is going to Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. And most of the Liverpool fans were pleading with Salah, please extend your contract, please extend your contract. And fortunately for Liverpool fans, he has extended the contract by another 2 years.
Yes,
yeah.
And that is so brilliant because Salah is a big star in the Premier League. And
Absolutely.
the kind of football Salah plays, if we get him off the Premier League, it will deep like the Premier League down a bit. Salah extending his contract with Liverpool, how positive is it for Liverpool, Richie?
Well, you see, talking about Mohamed Salah, well, he's having a legacy which no one is, like few people are talking about. It doesn't have much attention on the role of that wings for a winger to be very direct, seek for goals. Like he has been doing this thing for the past seasons, more than 5, 6, 7 seasons now, and he's still doing this. I mean, he's still leading the league,
Yes.
the goalkeeping chart.
I think 27.
You see-
eh?
Yeah, 27.
You see,
27 goals, yeah.
27.
And even let me even give a stat. He has played 394 games for Liverpool. He has scored 243 goals
Yes.
and 110 assists. This is brilliant.
That's
see,
in all competition. eh?
in all competitions. This is brilliant.
And this is not a striker, but a winger.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it will take a very long time for someone to override this.
Yes.
Consistency,
Even the
numbers.
top forwards, the top strikers are not even able to even give us
Yeah,
this
yeah.
numbers.
Yeah. You see, back then, as Wenger did something with Perez,
Yeah.
whereby he was playing a right-footed at the left wing, playing the left-footed on the right wing.
Yeah.
You see, back then there was this kind of system whereby a right to play right
Yes.
because of the
The
crossing and
crossing
other
and-
stuff.
yeah.
But this time around, you just have to cut in and then
You are good to go.
you are good to go.
Yeah.
Create or shoot.
Yeah.
So I think Salah came on board and Salah is just adding numbers to it, and which is very incredible. I think to me, he's the best player on that role in the Premiership.
Okay.
He's the best ever player on that role in the Premiership.
So is Salah, let me ask this question. So is Salah the best African player to ever play in the Premier League?
I mean, in terms of numbers, yes.
Prince.
In terms of
Is Salah
numbers,
the
yes.
best African player to ever played in the Premier League?
Yes, of course.
Say fast.
For me, I would want him to hang his book first. Then
Okay.
I can juxtapose properly. You get me? Because he's still playing.
But
He
say
will
fast,
potentially...
say fast. Let me say fast.
Even
Let me-
now,
no,
let's
say fast.
assuming-
Say- wait,
don't
say
worry.
fast. Let's face fact.
Yeah.
192 Premier League games. I think 243 Premier League games. 184 goals. 192 wins. It's more than enough. Didier Drogba, I think, comes closer with, I think, 104 something goals.
Yeah.
See,
Look at it.
there's-
He's almost doubled the number of goals.
There's one
And
thing
I got-
with comparison for
Yeah.
me, and sometimes I usually do not want to delve into it because one, if we want to compare, the basis for comparison must be the same. If you are comparing a winger, then if you want to compare based on the fact that the players are wingers, yes. If you are comparing strikers, yes. Because sometimes we are, led by instincts, and then we go like comparing a striker to a defender.
yeah.
For me, there are two different rules. And a striker will always get their added advantage of being the first person to put the ball at the back of the net. The game is goal-oriented. So the first thing that comes to mind is goals. So that is the first thing that will make us try to do any form of comparison. You get what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
say? So, yes, I side with them with the numbers they've put up
Yeah.
and the ones you also mentioned.
Yeah.
And clearly puts Salah ahead.
Yeah, I hate.
I don't begrudge that. But in terms of football in totality, I want him to hang his boots. Then I look at all other African players who have plied their trade in the Premier League. I won't focus so much on numbers.
Okay.
I'll look at football in general. How the player carries himself on and off the pitch.
Okay.
Then I use that.
So
I think I side with
Okay.
What's
Cephas is saying?
You know one thing. Cephas is trying to, like, he's pulling my mind on certain things. Didier Drogba, at a certain point in his career, he was the most influential African player in the Premiership. I mean, he made a lot of people support Chelsea, and even
They had a lot of Premier League fans.
fans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the fans, are they still there?
Oh,
It
they are
was
still
just
there.
organic. Oh,
Oh no, they are still there.
No,
Oh, no.
but there are some people.
No,
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 let me tell you
I mean,
something.
When you
Let
go
me
to
tell you
when you
something.
go to Cote d'Ivoire, when you go to Cote d'Ivoire, they are
in
not-
Ghana, it's in Ghana that you ask, why do you support Chelsea? It's because of Drogba. I mean, when Drogba leaves, you are not supporting the
Oh
team
no,
again.
no, but
No,
they,
no,
they
no.
have
No,
fans who
we have
supported
fans
Chelsea
who are still there.
who are still there because of
If-
yeah.
if-
Exactly.
if-
and usually
Cephas,
we are
Cephas.
tempted to,
No.
to live in the moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are in Salah's moment. So usually it's very easy to tilt in his favor. Do you understand what
No,
I'm saying?
but me on any day, anytime,
Salah
anywhere,
is your
I will
best-
completely disagree with you because one, Drogba was a typical number
Number
9.
nine. Okay.
Salah is a winger.
He-
Look at the
he's-
numbers they've been able to
he's-
rack up. It
we
clearly
are
shows
not.
he's
We are,
better.
no.
You can-
In terms
you
of
can-
numbers,
no.
no one is arguing.
Football
No one is
no,
arguing.
but the football is not
Prince,
entirely about numbers.
Prince, I'm
it's
coming.
not entirely about
You see,
numbers. It's
when we
about
talk
the
of influence,
Do you know this kind
Oh,
of
come
Liverpool
on.
team cannot survive without Salah?
no.
can't
Prince,
survive
Prince.
without
Do you know?
Salah.
Wait.
Prince.
No, let me prove something to you. I want to
Okay.
prove something to you. Let's do some analysis here. I am a winger. You are an attacker. And in any team, we expect that at least you lead the goal
The goal
king
king
rank,
as
isn't
an
it?
attacker.
Now, if it happens that consistently I overtake you, all recognition will come to me because people will think that I'm having more influence in the team than you, isn't it?
I don't begrudge.
Put that aside. Apart from the individual goals, Salah has 184. Alan Shearer, all-time top scorer in the Premier League, has 260. So Salah is about 78 goals or less.
Yeah.
And looking at the goals he's been able to score at the age of 32, the next 2 seasons, I wouldn't be surprised he can equal that record.
Oh, of course.
And that would
You
be
see-
one of the greatest
you-
achievements.
you
Now,
see-
Frank Lampard, as a Chelsea midfielder, scored 177 Premier League
Absolutely
goals.
influential.
2 more than Thierry Henry when
Yeah.
he was at Arsenal.
Yeah.
And about 60-something more than Frank Lampard and Didier
Didier
Drogba
Drogba.
at Chelsea. Meanwhile, they were attackers. And then, how do you call it? Lampard was a midfielder.
Yeah.
So clearly, it shows that apart from the individual goals, you go beyond that and look at the influence the player has on the team. Salah has been more influential at Liverpool than even any of the African players who have played in the Premier League. Let's put everything aside.
Well, I'm coming. Let me touch on this a
Yes.
little.
No,
It's a fact. This is
Listen,
something
I'm
you
coming.
can't
I'm
run away
coming.
from.
Prince,
I'm
I'm
telling
coming.
you.
Okay,
I'm
Richie,
coming.
just 1
I'm
minute.
coming.
Just-
Let me.
just-
You see, we are comparing two generations, two
Yes.
different generations.
Exactly.
That's one.
But this generation is more
I'm coming.
competitive. Oh.
No. I'll disagree
A generation
because
of
we've
city-
seen great players
based on
back
what
then
you
than
say.
this. We have
Based on what you say.
the likes
No,
of
this-
relax,
just make
relax,
Richie-
relax,
just make Richie
relax,
make
This modern
relax.
football is complicated.
No, relax,
Prince,
relax.
Let
relax.
Richie make his point.
You
Okay,
see,
okay, make it
we
fast.
have the likes of John Stones and Akanji being termed as best defenders. But then these people can't even lace the likes of Vidic. Back then, they were qualities.
But the same
I'm coming,
defenders are
relax.
winning their leg. They are winning their leg with
No,
City.
no.
You hear
No,
some-
I'm coming. They are qualities back then.
Yeah.
In terms of qualities,
Yeah.
we have it back then. Back then was more competitive because we have the likes of, when we are talking about top four, you will not see Nottingham Forest in. You will not see Bournemouth or any of the
Yeah.
teams coming closer.
Yeah.
It was these big teams we know.
Exactly.
Manchester United,
And
Liverpool,
not to-
Arsenal, Chelsea.
Exactly. Not to cut
You see,
you.
so
Okay.
if we are comparing generations, you may get it wrong.
Exactly.
You may
That's
get
what I'm
it
saying.
wrong.
We are living
With
in the
numbers,
moment.
comparing
Yeah.
them numbers, fine.
He has the
It's a
numbers.
fact.
But
Salah
there's
have
some-
all the
there's some
numbers.
backup.
Which
But do you know that someone, okay, look, you see the numbers you are comparing and the generation
so,
variation.
um,
I can also argue that the same generation that someone scored less goals, the same generation someone scored more in the person of Frank Lampard, who was not a striker.
So okay, so
You see, let me
you
keep this
you wait.
in.
you give him a minute. Give him a minute.
Let's
you-
give
you-
him a
you-
minute.
you-
Give
you-
him a
you-
minute.
okay.
Give him a minute. I want to fast to talk.
Salah's numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. There are a certain school of thought
Yeah.
who will tell you that
Okay.
this current crop of defenders in the Premier League, they are lucky not to have the likes of Drogba.
Fact. Bro,
Do you know
fact.
why? It's
We've seen
because of-
great strikers back
It's
then.
because of the caliber of striker Drogba was. People like Vidic, people even question their greatness.
Yeah.
People like Van Dijk.
Van Dijk.
People question their greatness because they feel the caliber of strikers they are facing now.
Now,
They are facing
uh,
the likes
faded
of
off.
Nicholas Jackson,
Jackson,
Yes.
Watkins,
and
These
co.
are strikers that have faded off. Do you get what
But
I'm
the
saying?
likes of Ferdinand Vidic had the
You
likes
see,
of Aguero.
we have the likes of John Terry
exactly.
Carvalho
Yeah.
conceding 15 goals in a season.
Exactly.
Which is incredible.
a whole season.
Okay, so
So I mean,
so-
comparing
so-
generations,
so-
you may
so-
get
we
it
may
wrong.
be
Okay,
tempted
so
to-
around that time, can you also argue that it could be that the strikers were not prolific enough?
Oh, come
Around
on.
the time.
Around the Drogba and Co era.
no, so
They were solid. Drogba,
They were
Drogba
solid.
had the
No,
numbers.
wait. You see,
Aguero
when
has the
it comes to
numbers.
when it comes
You
to
see,
teams not conceding goals, I don't limit it only to the defensive nature of the team. Neither do I put it up to the goalkeeper alone. Sometimes attackers cannot be prolific enough to produce the numbers. So do you mean to tell me that
it's
if during
down
the
to quality.
okay,
It's
so
down to
no,
qual- the
during
quality of their
during
So,
that era, do you mean to tell me that
listen,
if Salah was Salah wouldn't have been able to produce the numbers?
You see, I don't like to talk.
okay,
too
so
much of the East.
You see,
I know- no,
and
wait,
the
Richie,
generation, the
Richie,
kind of coach
Richie,
Salah will play
Richie,
under, you
Richie,
think Salah will shift
Richie.
from a right-footed player, a left-footed player to play on the right wing
Richie.
for him to be.
But the same
There'll
Salah
be-
played
there'll
under
be-
Mourinho. Salah
relax.
played under Mourinho.
No.
no,
What
Richie,
happened?
wait,
What
wait,
happened?
wait,
He
wait,
left.
wait, Richie.
He
Wait,
left.
Mourinho didn't
Salah
reason.
didn't-
No.
Mourinho
He
didn't.
left. He had his
Richie.
chance. There were some games
Richie.
he played. He started and never gave up.
Richie.
He never lived
Richie.
up to expectation. Come now,
Wait,
coming.
I'm coming.
When-
You are
when-
coming.
when
I'm coming.
Salah-
I'm coming.
Sa-
I'm coming.
Let
I'm
me
coming.
end. Let
I'm
me
coming.
end.
I'm
I'm in
coming.
the middle. Let me end.
Okay.
When Salah was playing that as a left-footed to play left, he'll be just floating crosses for strikers to head.
The Mourinho didn't know how to use him right. That's the case.
So,
for us.
so you see, so to our viewers,
Yeah.
this is an interesting topic. Like to know if Salah is the best African player to ever play. So the best thing to do for us is just go on our YouTube channel, Westman VARroom. Just comment on it, and you will have more and more arguments on it.
Yeah.
Let's delve straight into Onana. And Onana is doing something exceptional
Oh, yeah.
for Manchester United.
Yeah.
Should I say exceptional, or he's doing
Lord
like,
Onana.
yeah, Lord Onana. He's doing a lot of good things
For United.
for United.
in a good way or negative way.
Oh, both good and negative one.
Okay.
before their game against Lyon, he came and he was talking a lot. And this weekend, they have a game against Newcastle, informed Newcastle, the Carabao Cup winners Newcastle. And yesterday, with the goals he conceded against Lyon, it was so bad.
Absolutely.
For that,
Do you think, like, I don't know, but Onana, is it overconfidence or he not being, like, when he's in post, he doesn't concentrate too much.
Clearly, he's not that good. Clearly, he's not that good.
Yes.
So he was just overhyped.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And
because he knows how to pass all.
they wanted a ball playing goalkeeper.
And
that
they
was why
haven't
Eric Ten
even-
Hag went for him. And clearly, he's forgotten the core mandate of a goalkeeper,
Yeah.
which is to keep the post. And that's what he barely does now. And the talk is all over the place. Look, the United legends, Paul Scholes, the Nevilles, they are pained anytime they see Onana in post and the kind of exploits he tends to churn out week in, week out.
Okay. So, Richie,
Yeah.
is Onana the worst goalkeeper in Manchester United's history?
You see, I'll not put the blame on Onana only,
Okay.
although he has his mistakes or his weakness.
His weakness.
Do you just look at the crop of defenders he's also playing with? Put Edison in Manchester in goal post. I bet you we will even attack him more than Onana. Because look at the number of times they face shots in a game. Just look at the statistics. The number of shots per game.
Okay.
So definitely he's going to face a lot of shots and he's going to concede a lot. You see, the defenders expose him. He is also a problem. Fine. People will say, oh, but Onana went there, no, yeah, there. It's true. But we forgot he was playing with Inter Milan, a team with the best defenders in terms of with the likes of Bastoni and co. So when you put Onana in that goalpost, right now, Jan Sommer, people think he's actually one of the best goalkeepers in the world. I bet you go and bring him to Manchester, you see a different kind of goalkeeper. He has a style, ball playing, but whenever a goalkeeper can never be a stopper and at the same time a ball playing.
Yeah.
You can never have the two equally.
Yeah.
One
It's
has to
very
drop.
different. Yeah.
One has to drop for other.
So I asked the question: is he the worst goalkeeper?
I said
in
I'll not
Manchester
put the
United's
blame on Onana only.
Okay.
The defenders are also there to be blamed.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Prince, Onana versus Robert Sanchez of Chelsea. Who's sharper?
Onana has played 93 games, has conceded 137, and on the average, he has conceded 1.47 goals per game.
Okay.
Good.
What of errors leading to goals?
In the Premier League alone, he has kept, I think, 23 clean sheets in all competition, and 13 of that have come from the Premier League. So clearly, it shows that in the Premier League, he's quite well. Now, out of the 6,000 minutes he has played as a goalkeeper, you rank the goalkeepers from top to the last. I think, averagely, he's been very bad. Let's put that because there are certain
the
goals
Premier
Onana,
League?
not in all competition. There are certain goals Onana concedes. You ask yourself that you have never been trained as a goalkeeper, wouldn't allow that ball.
So
to be there.
so are you saying Robert Sanchez of Chelsea is better than
Oh, they are
Onana?
both in the same. They are all in the same
I
boat.
disagree with you.
They are all in the,
For that
but
one,
now,
I disagree with
wait.
you because please wait. There is no goalkeeper in this world that you will tell me that Robert Sanchez is better than.
Wait.
Robert Sanchez
Wait,
is
wait.
one of the worst
No,
goalkeepers
wait,
I
let's-
have ever seen in my life.
Let's argue here. Let's argue. Let me make something clear here. I think for the sake of our viewers
Okay.
and for the sake of education, let me make something clear. If a goalkeeper is not good enough, but he still finds himself in a top 5 of a team, averagely it is better. Do you know why? The same goalkeeper, I think Chelsea's 32 matches or so in the Premier League, Sanchez have played over 25 of them.
Yeah.
Only few have gone to Jorgensen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, out of this, Chelsea have still been able to play, in the top 4 of the league. It clearly shows that there's no much to be talked about the goalkeeping area. Now, Onana, your own Onana, Your own Onana.
Our own
Or
Onana.
your own, our own Onana.
Lord
Yes.
Onana.
Lord
Lord
Onana. Sir Lord Onana.
Yeah, we have to add Sir to his
Sir,
name.
because
yeah,
he has been knighted.
yeah, Sir Andrew Onana. Yeah.
Good.
Matic, best
Friend.
Yes.
Mr. Cameroonian.
Yes.
You know that. He has conceded a lot of goals this season. Now, last season, we were doing a particular countdown. At some point, he conceded over 60 something in all competition.
Oh, more than 60.
So clearly, it showed that Onana is a weakling. I don't even know what motivated, how do you call it? Eric Ten Hag to
He
go for
wanted
him.
a ball playing goalkeeper, a
Fine,
distributor.
you needed a distributor. But has he distributed enough?
Well, he's no more.
Good. So the question is, the main decision for signing Onana was one, wrong.
And also letting David De
De
Gea
Gea,
leave.
do you know the
Oh,
expert David De Gea is doing at Fiorentina?
But let's not forget this. De Gea was having a terrible season in his
But
last
have you
season.
forgotten about his
He
previous
was having a
seasons?
That
he was
was-
putting up a terrible.
That was what-
I'm coming.
about this
Relax.
season, but have you
He's
forgotten
the
about his
new
previous
environment.
seasons?
The pressure is not there.
No, no.
Fiorentina carries no pressure.
Oh,
Let Sanchez go to
okay, so-
Fiorentina.
No, no.
You be attempted to bring him back to Chelsea.
Okay, wait. Onana, De Gea spent over 10 seasons at United. But why do you judge him based on one particular season?
You see, that's. I'm coming.
It was at the time.
Fine.
that-
Eric Ten Hag was coming. He needed a ball distributor. He is not one. He is just a stopper. He is terrible using the foot. He has to go and then bring the profile he wants.
Now, the profile that came in, has he been able to achieve the result?
Coach
for them?
Nankasa Wasa. So definitely, it's.
And so,
But
General,
Onana Nankasa Okaho.
to put
Onana will act like he's that guy. But meaning, Charlie.
you know, Onana
Charlie.
Onana is only good at his feet. In terms of
Even that
approach
one,
pass.
he's just missing some passes.
Onana, one of those Samo, he's just
But Sanchez is having a
but
74.5 saving percentage, whilst Onana 68. Charlie,
So,
Sanchez is better than Onana.
okay,
in
okay.
terms of
Oh,
goals
okay,
conceding
yes.
and all those
Let me do
stuff,
that. He's far better than Onana. Let's conclude on that. I mean, Onana, there's no one Swasa. Or no, or a common style, you can be doing this. Take your time. I want to concede. Take your time. I want to concede.
Thank you, Brains. Thank you, Richie, and thank you, Sefas. We've had a very interesting topic.
I mean, they were our guests on the show
Yeah,
today.
our guests on the show. We would like to have you more and more on most of
listen.
our episodes.
Yeah.
It's a wrap from us, but I want you to do one thing. We have a separate video that we've dedicated for investors.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the new segment.
A new segment, the VARroom odds. So just check on our YouTube channel. You'll get more and more of this. But the most important thing, subscribe to our channel for more quality sports content. It's a wrap from us. Bye.